All right, let's talk about what's really going on with Social Security, fraud, and the latest news involving Trump and Elon Musk. There's been a lot of noise lately about fraud, waste, and abuse in the system, and, let's be real, anytime someone says they're trying to fix Social Security, people get nervous. So today, we're breaking it all down: what's real, what's nonsense, and how it actually affects you and your benefits. First, if you're new here, welcome. I cover Social Security, government benefits, and financial updates in a way that actually makes sense. No confusing jargon, no scare tactics, just straight talk to help you get what you're owed. So if that sounds good, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Trust me, staying informed is half the battle when it comes to your money. Alright, so let's start with the whole fraud thing. You've probably seen the headlines: Elon Musk went viral, claiming he found the biggest fraud in history after discovering more than 20 million people in the Social Security database listed as over 100 years old but still alive. He even joked that maybe vampires were collecting benefits. Sounds wild, right? But here's the reality: this isn't breaking news. The Social Security Administration's own watchdog did an audit in 2023 and found 18.9 million Social Security numbers belonged to people over 100 who hadn't officially been marked as deceased. Now that sounds bad, but here's the key point: almost none of them were actually collecting benefits. These are just outdated records from before the system went digital. Back in the day, if Social Security didn't get an official death certificate, the number just stayed in the system. The real number of living centenarians in the U.S. is around 86,000. And even in extreme cases, like the two individuals Musk found listed as born in 1886 and 1893, audits have shown that the vast majority of these cases are just paperwork errors, not fraud. In fact, of those 18.9 million names, 18.4 million hadn't received a single benefit check or reported income in 50 years. They were likely dead long before Social Security had an electronic way to track deaths. Now, to be fair, some fraudulent activity does happen. The audit did find around 44,000 people still receiving benefits, with 13 of them being over 112 years old. That's an issue, but it's nowhere near Musk's claim of a massive fraud scheme. The real problem isn't people stealing money, it's outdated records that make the system vulnerable to identity fraud. A separate 2015 audit found $3.1 billion in wages reported under Social Security numbers that didn't actually belong to the workers using them. And a lot of this comes from identity theft or people working under false numbers to pay into the system, not take money out of it. Now, Musk's claim that there are more active Social Security numbers than U.S. citizens? That's also misleading. Social Security's Numinate database includes every number ever issued since 1936, including people who left the country, were issued new numbers due to fraud, or even had multiple numbers assigned for other reasons. That's why the raw number of Social Security records looks higher than the number of actual citizens. So, is this fraud? In a few cases, sure. But is it the biggest fraud in history? No, not even close. The real fraud problem in Social Security is scammers using stolen numbers, not 150-year-olds cashing checks. And if Musk really wants to help, he could push for better electronic death reporting instead of just stirring up headlines. Now, let's talk about what's actually happening with Social Security, because this is where people should really be paying attention. Trump has said he won't cut benefits or raise the retirement age, which sounds great. But the reality is that if nothing changes, automatic cuts will happen. The Congressional Budget Office, the Social Security trustees, everyone who runs the numbers agrees that by 2035, the trust fund will be empty. That means across-the-board cuts of 17%, not 21% as some headlines say. And if certain policies go into effect, like eliminating taxes on Social Security benefits without replacing that revenue, the trust fund could run out even sooner. That's not some political scare tactic, that's just math. So when people talk about fixing Social Security, the real question is how. And one of the biggest fixes would be getting rid of the FICA cap. Right now, if you make under $176,100 in 2025, you pay Social Security tax on every dollar you earn. But if you make more than that, you stop paying Social Security taxes entirely on anything above that amount. So, if you're working a regular job, you're paying Social Security tax all year. But if you're a millionaire or billionaire, you might finish paying your Social Security taxes in a single day. So if we got rid of that cap, Social Security would bring in an extra $388 billion per year, enough to fix the system and prevent cuts entirely. But instead of addressing this, politicians talk about raising the retirement age or cutting benefits. That's not a fix, that's just making everyday workers pay for a problem that could be solved right now. So, what does this all mean for you? It means don't get distracted by flashy headlines about Musk uncovering fraud when the real issue is funding Social Security properly. It means that if you're retired or on disability, your check could get cut in the next decade if they don't do something. And it means that politicians from both parties have kicked this can down the road for 40 years, so don't let anyone act like this is a brand new crisis. The good news? You can actually do something. Call your representatives. Ask them straight up, are you going to protect Social Security by making the wealthy pay in, or are you going to cut benefits? No more vague answers. No more we'll look into it. We need actual solutions. All right, I know this was a lot, but this stuff matters. If you found this helpful, hit that like button, it really helps spread the word. And if you want to stay updated on everything Social Security, government benefits, and financial assistance, make sure you subscribe. This isn't just about politics, it's about your money, your future, and making sure you get what you've earned. And let me know in the comments what you think. Should they raise the FICA cap? Are you worried about future cuts? I read every comment, and I want to hear from you. Take care, stay informed, and I'll see you in the next one.